Hello. Just just turning everything on, people. So give me a moment. Bro, why is
Wait, are you tied up literally?
a little bit?
Oh,
I,
okay.
I got this. I got. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Wait. You're blue. This one. Okay. Audio check test 1 2. Making sure that everyone can hear me. Mic test, guys.
Mic check.
Mic check. 1 2 3. Mic check. 1 2 3.
Testing my patience. No, I'm kidding.
Mic check. 1 2 3. Mic check. 1 2 3.
All right.
Okay.
We're good. We're good. All right. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the episode. Let me go ahead and do that. And of course, I gotta play the
And there we go.
What is going on, everybody? Episode 119 of the Self Lore Gamers podcast. I am your host, the Silverback Senpai, and today we have a special guest. And before we get to our guest, we're gonna go ahead and introduce the co-host. As you already know, Waluigi.
Good afternoon. It's 1 p.m. Looking forward to having another episode. Last Thursday was pretty fun, but looking forward to our new guest today.
Absolutely, and our new guest is none other than Metahuman Macaluco.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me, Mr. Senpai.
Not a problem. Glad to have you on, because I ain't gonna front. Because you've been, checking out my content and whatnot. I was like, you know what? I got to get him on. He seems like a very interesting dude. Let's get him on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You gave me DM'd too, and that threw me off. I'm like, wow, someone actually recognizes us through Discord.
Yeah.
Well, no, because, all right, here's the thing. I've been peeping your guys' podcast for a hot minute now.
Mhm.
Damn.
And I should have been a little bit more, what's the word?
Describe it.
Vocal.
Oh.
I wish I was more vocal about it. But at the same time, I tell people, that the tournament organizer for Flynn's has his podcast. You should peep his podcast. And I think what really brought me in was your guys' interview with the Ed Boys, Avi.
Avi, that's a homie.
Avi's cool people. Avi's very supportive, I like what he's got going on. He's trying to do this death battle type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I also follow him on TCG as well.
So shout out Avi. Love you, dog.
You
Keep
go.
grinding. Ed Boys, thank you as well. Appreciate y'all for your input. But yeah, let me not get too much into that. Thank you again.
Not a problem. Not a
Let me
problem.
be on the-
we're
Glad to
happy
have you on. All right. So in our podcast, we have our usual normal tradition, and that is we like to ask our guests when they come here for the very first time, what is it that got them into gaming? Give us your gaming background story. Give us that origin story of how you became a gamer. How did you start it and up until now? Give us that timeline.
Okay, so like everyone and their mom, I grew up with N64
Hell
and
yeah.
PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a given. There's no big shocker. But growing up with the N64, I was playing pretty obscure games like Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, that was a classic.
Yeah,
That is not obscure. That is a classic.
That is
right
an
there.
iconic game.
Listen, I love the game too, but I feel like a lot of people really don't, know about it.
Yeah.
You have to
True.
be in the know of the know.
It's like the majority did not really
'Cause
know about it.
You guys are gamers. You guys are
Yes.
gonna know about it.
Yeah.
A person who's not normally gaming is not gonna know about it.
They're
Yeah,
like, who the hell is Diddy Kong?
No. It's what's gonna throw them off is they have Conker and Banjo,
Oh, I
Ah.
forgot about that.
and this is before Banjo's Bad Fur Day too.
Oh, yeah, Rare.
Yeah.
Rare doing its antics.
So a year later, you get a bloody game about this squirrel, and that throws people off. So that's why Diddy Kong Racing as a concept is so obscure to people, because it wasn't really popular, compared to its successors during that era of N64. Granted, it's not of the same genre, but it's still rare games.
Okay.
Other than that, I played a lot of Turok. I wasn't really too
Ooh.
thrilled with what was that one James Bond game, GoldenEye.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone and
What?
their mother is I feel it's overrated.
What?
Yes.
Ain't no way.
Wow, that's actually first hot take.
Yeah, that is a hot.
GoldenEye.
That is a hot take.
I respect it.
Well, no, because it's really, what is it really? It's a James Bond game. I get it. It's you have for your buddies, you're shooting each other as per the game. It's no different than any other FPS or third PS that's out right now. But at least with Turok, the character selection was a little bit more intriguing. The stage selection was a little bit more intricate and cooler. You're going in temples, you're fighting dinosaur guys. You can play
Fair
as
point.
dinosaurs or play as
Okay,
dinosaur
I see the
human
point behind that,
hybrids.
Yeah.
There's a couple of weird characters in those two Turok games for the N64. I think it was the second one you can play as a hive of bees or some silly like that.
Huh. I very briefly played it, but I don't even remember
I could-
going
Yeah,
that far
I-
in a game.
I
Yeah.
could be wrong about the bees, but there was definitely some sort of bugs. You play FPS, you're a hive of bugs, not just one singular bug,
Huh.
Hmm.
I gotta actually look at the gameplay.
like a hive mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. And from the N64 days, what other console that you ventured off to?
So once GameCube dropped when I was 8 years old, that was it. My dad and I were both hyped. Mainly because I didn't realize until of that age, my dad was a huge Metroid fan,
Ah,
Ooh.
and Metroid Prime dropped. That was like
yes, classic.
for him being 30 at the time or 40 at the time. That was like mind blowing for him. Okay, because he used to play the side scrollers.
Yeah,
So seeing his favorite character in a first person setting is kind of like jarring to him.
yeah,
And he was hyped for it. So he put me on at 8 years of age. I'm playing this game with him. I think it was 2 that dropped a couple of years later. They finally had multiplayer. So him and I used to like play that religiously at that point. And because of that, he kind of took me away from the Legend of Zelda stuff, and I stopped getting really into that. So I've been a huge like Metroid fan for the longest because of my dad's influence.
That is
Okay.
funny. Your dad forced you not to be a Legend of Zelda fan.
Yeah, dude.
This is like, bro, you're going to Metroid, you're going to like it.
I guess he didn't want me to look like those guys that wear the Legend of Zelda
The
shirts.
the
and
tunic.
blue shirts.
the tunic and the skirt going, yeah.
Yeah, dude. You know.
I gotcha. That's funny.
And Melee always a classic. I believe everyone and their mother played Melee at some point in their lives. Whether they were a purist or not. I know for a fact I certainly did. It's a given. Double Dash, great game. But this was also the same era as the PlayStation 2. So there was a couple of games that I played religiously on the PlayStation 2 as well. During this time, my dad had given me a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I'm kind of pissed because he sold that.
Oh.
my God.
Along
You
with,
know how much that game is going for right now? It's terrifying.
probably like $300?
Most likely.
Something like that. And then the other game he gave me on my birthday as well was Capcom vs. SNK 2.
Oh.
At 8 years of age, I'm playing this game. I already don't know who Ryu is to begin with. So now I'm looking at Capcom like, why is just Capcom fighting people? They fight Marvel, now they're fighting SNK, and now a couple of years later,
that's
they
a real
fight-
question.
They fight Tatsunoko like years later. Like I'm talking like 2007. So at this point, I'm in middle school. But dialing back to GameCube and
Yeah.
PlayStation 2,
Yeah.
that particular era.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of Marvel. Well, no, Marvel Ultimate Alliance was 360. Still a great game,
Yes.
Yeah.
phenomenal game. But the precursor to that was that one Nicktoons game.
Oh.
I like that type of gameplay where it's like you have the 4 characters and you can only be one at a time.
I forgot the name of it, but I know which one you're talking about. That had like
Nicktoons Unite.
yes,
Something like that.
SpongeBob, Timmy
SpongeBob,
Turner, Danny
Jimmy Neutron.
Phantom.
Yes, you
Yeah.
got it. You're accurate.
I remember playing this a long time ago. And you had
I
to
have
go to each,
no memory of this.
You had to
game.
go to each biome, or each of the respected biomes in the game.
It's like the one good game, and they dropped a couple of sequels. And you would think, by adding all these additional characters,
Right.
they wouldn't be floppers, but they were floppers.
They were floppers.
They were-
Mm.
Like how do you expand your roster and still have floppers?
It's people wanting to overkill on sequels. Sadly, I think we talked about this like a hot minute ago with PlayStation.
Yeah, like
PS2 made anything.
yeah, like when you catch lightning in a bottle, you're thinking that okay, we're gonna catch it again for the second time. It's just like no. Sometimes you got to go with the first time. You have to be really careful on how you want to do your sequel for the next time because sometimes when you try to do a sequel, it's just like, oh, this is bad, like real bad. But continue.
No, for sure, man. So I mean, with PlayStation 2, there was a lot of I can't remember all the titles I had. That I'm like going through the recesses of my head, and
Did you have any like niche accessories or anything you've used from the PlayStation 2 era?
not
Like-
really. I
like the
think
dance
most of the
machine?
niche accessories I had was for my Wii. That was about it.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I had the longboard
Yes.
for the Wii Sports Fitness,
Yep.
and all that
That
stuff.
nobody ever used after like a week.
Yeah, I mean, now they're all in retirement homes, so now they're being used in some sort of capacity.
Hopefully.
But at some point, as time went on, obviously we had the 360. Now the 360 I loved with an absolute passion. I went through all the gripes of a 360 fan.
I was
every
ready.
day.
I was ready to ask that question.
Like a year in. Why do I have 3 red rings? Oh no.
Why is my Xbox so hot?
And then of course they got their act together and they dropped the black Xbox at some point, and smooth sailing from there. And thankfully, this was during the time of Halo 3 and Halo Reach.
Mm-hmm.
All goated classics. You can't tell me otherwise. Same era as Modern Warfare 2 when that first dropped.
Yes.
And at some point after high school years, like 2011, 2012, 2013, once I started getting into college, I kind of stopped playing video games for a little bit. Like, sure, I'd pop in and play a fighting game every now and then. I was starting to lose my passion for it a little bit. And, I was also focused on other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really around like maybe 2020, 2021. I got back into gaming because of the Yakuza franchise.
Ah.
That game, that whole franchise influenced me as both a person and my artwork, and you can clearly tell.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's not really my artwork. I paid artists for my commissions, but still, like,
Respectable. That's good.
and that, stuff to promote the channel, stuff like that. But going back to Yakuza, I kind of messed up playing in order, so I went to GameStop after browsing on Facebook and seeing all these silly ass memes on Majima posting.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this franchise? Like, why do I just thanks to the memes, I had to play it because I was like,
it's
getting
hard to
curious.
process.
Yeah.
So I started playing Yakuza 6, and then I got into Yakuza 7, and I'm kind of glad I did do that because Yakuza 7 is where they kind of changed the gameplay a little bit. In some of the previous titles, it's more of a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
You're going around boom, boom, boom. Whereas in Yakuza 7, it gets very meta in the story.
Right.
Because the main protagonist is actually a huge fan of Dragon Quest. So because the protagonist is a huge fan of Dragon Quest, the game itself plays like a JRPG Dragon Quest style where you have your party, you select whatever attack or item you need to do, and then boom, you hit your opponent. And, of course, it's super grindy, so you have to, go back to the same level, fight some NPCs so you can get to a certain level and go back and fight the boss. They really forced you to, get into it like that.
That's
in Yakuza
funny.
7.
I did not know about that actually, because I played 0, but I never continued on. Because I have it free on the Xbox Game Pass a while back when I had one.
If I may make a recommendation,
I'm listening.
please finish 0.
Okay.
Please finish 0. I love that game.
I'm going
with
to see
all
the
my
bundles
heart.
on sale just so I can at least replay it.
I still have my Yakuza 0, and I have not even played it yet because backlogs. And then, of course, I also have the habit of replaying games for, hours at a time when I'm supposed to be I need to finish these JRPGs so that way I can just move on from them. But you have your comfort games that, you play, you sit, and just have fun with or whatnot because it's a comfort game to you. But, yeah, I'm definitely got to finish Yakuza 0. I got to start and finish it.
I tell everyone and their mom, if you're going to get into a video game and you haven't played in a while, play Yakuza because it's a comfort game you can play by yourself. If you want to have a buddy or two over and play it and, just give them the remote and show them how to do it, by all means.
I just love those executions in the game.
Dude, the executions.
They're so out of pocket.
The mini games, too.
Yes.
The mini games are just as out of pocket as the actual executions.
That's true. You're playing Sega games in an actual arcade is still the funniest thing from 0.
Dude, that's how I got back into Virtua Fighter.
Really?
That's literally because I used to be a huge Virtua Fighter fan. I had Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution for the PlayStation 2. Now, years later, they dropped 5. I don't even think I have my copy of 5 for the 360 anymore.
Okay.
But it doesn't even matter at this point because they re-released it for
PC now.
time for
Yeah.
PC.
Revo.
Which I'm so glad because when I did put myself into that pocket for a brief period of time, just playing Virtua 5 casually, I ran into a couple of big name characters from that community like Juicebox FGC
Nice.
and Chan Chai. And Chan Chai and I have been, communicating back and forth on Twitter. He'll give me advice about, either Virtual Fighter or life in general.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying? Other than that, the Juicebox thing was silly because that was just I'm just online, I'm streaming, not thinking much of it. But then I look at his name, I see Juicebox FGC. I'm like, wait a minute. Excuse me? Who is this I'm fighting right now? Is this why I'm getting demolished? Like my reaction on that stream, I'm pretty sure I actually had a clip of it somewhere. I had to clip that. I lose my absolute mind. I'm like, I'm fighting Juicebox. What? And I'm losing. I lose my shit.
That's real. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
You've probably seen stuff like that in your tournament.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely. It happens it happens. I wouldn't say all the time, but it does happen occasionally. Like maybe once every week or once every other week or whatnot. But there's always a moment to where someone's popping off, or someone's getting excited, or someone's just like completely dooming over the game.
Yep.
I get like a lot of emotion too.
I've caused dooming before, and I've been dooming. It happens to the best of us. It's either you get cooked or you just start cooking. One of those two are gonna happen.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's funny as hell. Juicebox FGC, and you're just like, what?
Yeah. So I tried reaching out to him after that, and he's not as receptive. So the only real advice he ever gave to me is like, just keep advertising for Rex Gaming, and keep doing your thing, and you'll network along the way. And that advice worked, because here I am now.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So tell me, what are your favorite genres of gaming?
So as far as genres go, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I do like my beat 'em ups. I do like my fighters. I love my fighters. I need to be more active within the FGC, but I get so roped into my own projects that it's hard to come out here more often.
That's okay. You could literally start anytime.
So but I've had my moments of experimentation. Like I was here at this venue once for a Guilty Gear Strive tournament. That was after I had a talk with my boy G-Sip, and he was big into Guilty Gear after getting out of Smash.
Mm-hmm. I remember that name, G-Sips.
G-Sips.
Yeah, I think he used to play Smash like years ago. I remember that name.
So that's actually one of my close friends. I used to be his boss at the car wash.
Ah.
Oh, small world.
Yeah. Funny enough, the last guest you had on here was also a former associate of mine from the car wash. Unga Bunga.
Yeah.
Oh,
Unga
that
Bunga's
guy.
Cool people.
Yes, he
yeah.
is.
I'll never forget, because when I advertised for Rect Gaming, I try and get this guys to come out and socialize. Like
Right.
guys, like come on, come hang out.
Come through.
It doesn't even matter if it's like with us or at Flynn's. Just go out and socialize. Like
Yeah.
be social butterflies. You never know what's gonna happen. And G-Sip has always been doing this for the longest, but he played Smash exclusively. He makes me laugh because I love that guy. I'll never forget being here. We were having such a great time. This man looked at me, word for word, said, "Luco, just for you, I'm gonna have one alcohol." I'm like,
one alcohol.
yeah, I'm like, just drink the beer, dude. Like, you just got third place in the Smash tournament. Be so for real.
That's wholesome, though.
Like, enjoy yourself, dude. I love that, man. Unfortunately, he moved to Connecticut, and he's been, popping off over there. I believe the Danbury Mall's got some tournaments going on.
Okay.
But I'm not too sure. I haven't taken the time to look more into it. I'm more invested in, my own culture here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we get it.
And I keep up with him from time to time, make sure he's doing good.
That's good.
I tell him, yo, come through, please, because we can go back and visit all these spots and chill out, Unga Bunga, I actually texted him. I was like, yo, congratulations, I'm proud of how much you came through and doing the Smash. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. I'm not going to press him on it because I know he's got a, busy life as it is. Still appreciate, bro. But, seeing everyone from that community getting together and having fun, it really not fills the void in my heart because that just sounds depressing, but definitely, makes me smile.
Glad to hear, man.
Yeah, that's really
Glad to
good
hear
to
that.
hear. So beat 'em ups.
community setting. I'm so sorry. I've totally digressed from the main.
Oh, you're fine.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's good.
So-
This is your episode.
This is your
I'm cu-
episode.
I'm curious if you like hack and slashes and such. Actually.
So Onimusha was one of my favorites at some
Ooh.
point. And some of the Dynasty Warrior games I do like.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
That's
actually
Silver's domain right there. Actually.
I was actually playing the One Piece Pirates Warrior 3 at some point.
Wow.
And I still have to play 4. I'm like,
They've expanded so much on 4, it's ridiculous. You have
Yeah.
plenty of time.
oh, dude, it looks like it too. The Gundam Dynasty games were always crazy too. And it's so crazy how Dynasty Warriors got experimental with these like cross collabs, like the Hyrule Warriors, the Fire Emblem Warriors, like why can't you guys? I think they did Berserk as well at some
Yeah,
point.
they did Berserk.
There's a parody of Legend of Zelda that has one.
Really?
Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, you just mentioned that, and
Oh,
of
my bad.
course, they also did one of Bleach. I think back in the PS3 era,
Probably.
PS3 or PS4 era, because I know that they did like a Dynasty Warrior style of Bleach.
But is it made by the same company that does Dynasty Warrior? Komi?
Probably.
That I do not know, but I just remember the
Probably.
style, the art style, the combat. It just felt like okay, because I'm a Bleach fan. I'm big into Bleach, and I want to play more Bleach
Yo,
games.
respect. Bleach was my shit growing up
Yeah.
as a kid.
But the fact that most of the like good fighting games, they're on either PSP or they're in Japan, like only Japan only. So the ones for the US, like when I saw one for here for the US for the PS3, I was like, oh, okay, let me try this out. But it had like the Dynasty Warriors feel, so I was just like, but I was like, you know what? At least I bought it just to support it, just to support the idea that I would like to see more Bleach games come, in the future, especially like a fighter. And then of course we end up having J-Star's Victory, which I ended up buying. Then of course Jump
J-Star
Force.
Victories, I loved. That game was so much better than Jump Force.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
like
Jump Force could have definitely been so much better than J-Star's Victory. They really could have.
It's
Yeah.
just the animation.
The
Design.
hyper realism was so unnecessary.
yeah, it
Extremely.
definitely was. I was just like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I could try to get behind this or whatnot. And then of course just the online aspect was just terrible.
It's horrendous.
And then of course the combat, the combat was just need more polish, but overall it's just like I'd
Yeah.
rather play J-Star's Victory more than Jump Force.
So since we're on the topic of those arena type of fighters,
Right.
were you ever a big fan of the Ultimate Ninja Store games?
Yes,
Ooh.
bought all of them, played
Okay.
all of
Yeah,
them.
they were fun.
Okay, because I would get some people that hit us up from time to time, like, dude, do a Ninja Storm tournament, and there's really not a big demand for it, especially,
Yeah.
It's
where
a
we
niche
do our
community.
venues at.
Yeah,
It's good for casual, but competitive, there's not many.
Yeah,
And this is more of an obscure title. I played it for the Wii. The same developers for Ninja Storm actually made a Castlevania game that played the exact same way.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's Castlevania Judgment. It's for the Wii.
Oh.
It's a Wii exclusive. Some of the characters a little over the top with the way they're designed because they look like they have like bondage gear and stuff. But outside of that, it's still a fun game. And there's a lot of time travel aspect to it, so they have an excuse to have why this guy from 1763 is fighting a dude from 1492. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah.
So, of course, they had to implement some sort of silly time travel aspect in order to get all the Castlevania characters into one sitting. And have
Especially when you have Belmonts involved.
Belmonts, especially, because they have Trevor, they have Simon, they had Trevor's boy,
Oh.
the pirate guy.
I'm trying to remember. Crap. Because I saw
Grant,
that.
I think his name was. I think his name was Grant. I could be wrong.
'Cause I think
Dracula, obviously.
Because I played that and Sorrows of Aria. That was the last one I played.
Sorrows of Aria is such an underrated gem.
Yes, it was.
Was that the girl with the black hair and the red sword?
No, it was the Japanese dude that actually copied everyone's ability.
Oh, the white-haired guy,
Yes.
Soma Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, he's not in the game, unfortunately.
Lame.
Very lame, but
That makes sense, though. He is overpowered to an extent.
oh yeah, dude, that game was so ridiculous. The whole Dario's death scene still gets me to this very day.
It shocks me.
Dario and Dimitri. I'm like,
I played it. Like,
Why am I watching this as a child?
Oh, I played it a few months ago. Emulation's a beautiful thing.
I don't know. I like emulation, but my personal gripe with emulation is when you're playing some older games and you have a remote control that you didn't play growing up with that same game, it feels kind of weird.
It is. That's why I use my phone.
Okay, I can respect that. 'Cause, nah, I've had dudes emulate Melee for some reason, and
What?
they'll use Xbox 360 controllers, and I'm looking at them funny, like, dude, I have a GameCube at home. What are you doing?
Exactly.
It's like the one thing my dad didn't sell on me,
Okay, good. I was about to say.
and my copy of Melee too.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
So that's still with me.
You still have a CTV?
I do not. That's the only thing I don't have, and
Or I'm sure you have like a converter for like VAT and HDMI.
I definitely do somewhere in my room.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I'm like, you're playing Melee without the Melee screen. But
My boy DK's got a couple of CRTVs because he's got his own Melee and Smash tournaments up at
Yeah.
Prodigy Games.
we know him.
DK's my boy, dude. I love that.
I
dude.
know. I met him before and after the podcast, and I still like catch up with him. Great guy.
I met him at Otaku Fest.
I met him at his first.
I think Otaku Fest 2023 when we was at the Mac down in Miami, the Miami
yeah.
airport. That's when I met him, and he was just like wanting to get information about running a tournament or whatnot. And I think I kind of like gave him like a brief description of it because there's just so much nuance when it comes into organizing and running a tournament. Especially when it's at a convention tournament, because how I run a convention tournament is not the same as how I run a local tournament. It's both completely different
Yeah.
because when it comes to convention tournaments, you have to prioritize the time and, of course, people wanting to just have a quick game in and out so that way they have time for their panels, meet and greets, either doing some activities with their friends, photo shoots, things like that. So I always prioritize people's time, hence why I always do it single elimination as to
Double.
instead of at a local it's double elimination, so that way they have time to go do other activities. So it's just quick in and out, and you're done, and it doesn't go on for such a long period of time. Because usually I think our very first Otaku Fest tournament that we did, Waluigi, I think we did a double elimination and it went on for hours because
That was Smash.
Yeah, it was Smash because people would once they got eliminated, they wouldn't stick around, and
They
then
would dip.
they would dip. Like after they lose, like all right, I dip. I'm like, it's double elimination.
Then for Strive, we had like less than 15 people. We cleared in less than an hour for single elim. We're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Single elim, let's not.
Yeah, that's when we made a decision. Single elimination from here on out because you can have people sign up in advance for a double elimination tournament, but it's the fact that running it, and then of course you're always gonna have
It's like a DQ every 3 minutes.
Yeah, you're always going to have a huge fluctuation of people wanting to get into the tournament, and they didn't know about it. So it's just like, all right, from here on out, you could sign up at the venue, or you could sign up at the con when you first come, or you can do it online in advance so that way you can secure your spot. That way it's a lot easier on us, and it's a lot easier on them. And then, of course, I also made the decision that we're capping the bracket because I think
Smash
it was
had like what, 50, 60 people.
no, the one that I did for Florida SuperCon years ago,
Oh,
where it had like 128 people because I just kept letting more and more people get
oh
in,
my god!
and I had like 9 setups. I was just like, fuck me. I was like, from here on out, we're capping the bracket. Depending on how many
Dear
setups I have,
SuperCon was a nightmare for all of us.
depending on how many people are in the tournament, depending on how many setups I have to calculate in my mind how many people I want in the tournament, so that way I am done with the bracket within an hour and 30 minutes tops.
And that pricing, they didn't do shit.
Yeah,
they just gave us plushies.
Yeah, the pricing wasn't.
You worked your ass up for a plushie that you.
Yeah,
could get $1
it
Timo.
definitely wasn't worth the players waiting for a long period of
That
time
was
just to play. But
funny.
it was a lesson that I had to learn.
They did better last year. I will say that.
Compared to last year, yeah, definitely.
That's a huge difference, but I'm loving all these connections that we see with different people that we know and like got along with. Like, it's definitely a small world.
Yeah,
And it helps in the long run because
Mm-hmm.
advice comes around, people help each other, and of course there's always the downside to it. Sometimes egos smash, and then beefs start because of it, and hopefully they get what's the word, squashed at some point.
Yeah.
But other than that, seeing everyone come together in one setting and living off different aspects of their lives. It's always what I try to preach to some FGC guys at DK's Battle Lounge and the car wash guys I used to work with.
Mhm.
Just go around and socialize and have fun.
Hell yeah.
Even if you don't get invested with fighting games specifically,
Yeah.
there's always another niche or another avenue you can take, and you have gone on that avenue because you met someone else through whatever,
Yeah.
going out and hanging out.
That's true. If I may interrupt, like we talked about this on Thursday, where it is a fighting game community.
Yes.
People think it's the FGCs for competition, but it's community first. where
First
you're-
and foremost, always, the competition's always second. Like if you're once you got the sticks, then competition's on. But once the sticks are down, there shouldn't be, anything beyond that is just silly.
Agreed. That's what it's literally about. Like having your friends, socializing, having a good time. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. But some people see it. A lot of people see everything differently.
Oh, for sure.
But it's good that our community is still thriving and have a good amount of people that we can socialize with. Is the key word.
Exactly. Stole the words right out of my mouth, brother.
Yeah. So, man, where were we on topic wise? I think
Gaming genres.
genres.
We were talking about beat 'em ups, to hack and slash, and when we got into community.
Yeah. So what would be your top three?
Top 3 fighting games, beat 'em ups, JRPGs.
Ooh.
Solid.
I used to be big into first person shooters. I don't know, they got boring to me.
Does it
You
feel the same, or does it feel like it's overused?
I feel like it's overused. Like if I can play a game that has a good story, great. But like if it's got a lot of like I'll give Doom a pass because I like Doom.
The story itself is, I give it a pass too. I understand.
I'll give the entire Halo franchise a pass. Everything back then, just because that whole franchise shaped everyone's childhood as it is. Same with the much older Call of Duty games. Now that they've become so oversaturated, I can't get into it to save my life.
I agree with that because I look at it because big fan of first person shooters, and for me, I completely stopped buying Call of Duty after Modern Warfare 2, and that's the latest one, the more recent one, because I was like, I'm done with this series because it does not feel fun. Like, I'll play the beta and I'll have fun with the beta, but then when you play the actual full game at full release, you end up hating yourself and you end up hating the game even more. I was like, bro, I can't do this. And then, of course, everyone knows how I feel about Battlefield and whatnot, so I'm not even gonna go down that road. Another first person, Halo died after Reach.
Yeah.
Halo died after Reach. Once Bungie gave it to 343 Studios, it died. That's when.
Did you try giving 4 a chance and hating it?
Yes, I gave 4 a chance, and
Because I went through the same thing.
I gave Halo 4 a chance. I did have fun with it, but it did not had that grasp like Reach did, and it didn't have that fun factor that Halo 3 did. So when it comes to Halo, it's like I don't want to play none of the newer ones. I'd rather just play Reach or 3. Like I'm stuck right there because that is where Halo peaked at its greatness.
Absolutely.
After that, it was just like.
Plus, I like unlocking the armors. I will say that too.
Dude, going out your way to unlock that Hayabusa.
Yes. Oh, you felt so badass, and there were challenges to get these armors to make it seem like you had skill,
and you worked hard for it.
And exactly, now all you have to do is just
Get
all right. Here's my 16-digit credit card. There you go.
With the funny numbers in the back.
Yeah,
with the funny numbers in the back. That threw me off.
Yeah, you gotta get a security code.
Oh God, no! Oh dear God.
Yeah, people just buy their stuff, and it's not as fun as it used to be. It's like, oh, I look good because I can buy it. I'm like, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah. It just like it takes the fun factor out of it.
It's like Fortnite as well.
Oh yeah.
Because they have all these collaborations like Hatsume Miku, Godzilla, JJK, and I'm just like,
Batman, Superman,
No, the
Marvel,
memes,
DC.
the memes with everyone you just
memes are
listed
good.
kill me.
Yeah.
they are, but is it worth the $20?
Hell no.
Because oh my
I think the
god.
good thing about Fortnite is the stupid memes that came out of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite.
I just love the Hatsune Miku memes. They're out of pocket now.
But first person shooters like after Halo, what other first person shooter? I was a huge fan of Rainbow Six. Siege.
I saw the 2014 trailer, how it originally was supposed to look, and there was a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's the graphics. It looks so cinematic.
Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, it was like hit or miss for me, but it feels like Rainbow Six Vegas, Vegas 1 and Vegas 2, especially Vegas 2. It's like, yeah, you got me right there because it was a very different first person shooter at that time, and I wish we could have like another Rainbow Six Vegas 3 maybe, but I know that's never gonna happen, unfortunately,
Nay.
because of Ubisoft. So
I mean, I wouldn't stress out too much about it because Siege, everyone's still into Siege to this very day.
Yeah.
Ubisoft's like eating good, Well,
We're eating too much.
eating too much, yeah.
That's the nicest way I could say it.
And then, I got a couple of homies that try putting me on that game. I'm like, guys. No. Like, I'm going to play Marvel Rivals first before I play this game. That's a fun game as
And
it
it's
is.
free.
And it's free.
Unless you buy skins. That's a whole different story.
But unfortunately, I don't have a PlayStation 5 or a really good gaming computer. I really only play Marvel Rivals whenever I get a chance to go over to my boy Heresy Leader's place, or if I
Okay.
go up to Rex Gaming and hang out with them for a little bit, or if not with them with my boy DK, because he's also got Marvel Rivals tournaments going on as it is. So him popping off as that is great to see. But of course, we do play casually. I play casually. Playing as Punisher, that's all you need. Done. 10-player kill streak, you're set. I swear on Sifu. That's all you need. I don't know why everyone's playing Iron Man and Spider-Man and Iron Fist. No.
Because they look cool. Actually, Iron Fist is just belligerence.
Done.
yeah, I mean, Iron Fist is a really good DPS and cheap too, but he gets the job done. Because for me, when I play Marvel Rivals, and yes, I play Iron Man, unfortunately. But if I don't want to play Iron Man, I'm playing Captain America. Because I like to run. I don't just like everyone has like their own run speed or whatnot. No, I want to run and just moving around. Spider-Man, I've tried to get good with him, but it's just like it requires a lot of time, and I don't got a lot of time to.
If you like that, have you played Star-Lord?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like he's a little OP too.
I can see that.
Especially if you like time yourself right and put yourself in a good spot and do that one I don't even think it's an ultimate. The one move where he's just shooting everywhere all at once and doing a flip. Done. 3-player kill streak, and you just saved everyone and their mother.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right, so our
Shooters definitely feel like they're devolving. I can agree with that. But seeing other games rising up, I do respect it.
For sure. I just wish there was more of a demand for JRPGs and what have you.
We're in the United States of America. Not many people demand it unless it's Persona.
That's true. But
Yeah.
okay, let me rephrase that. Maybe not Japanese RPGs.
There we go.
But RPGs that have that have the elements from JRPGs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like that grinding.
Like, remember where we're from. Not many people like appreciate it. They're mostly Legend of Zelda freaks.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
you're now seeing more Persona fans because of the remakes.
Well, I mean, the Yakuza games have a lot of the
That's true.
RPG elements. Even the beat 'em ups have RPG elements. So there's really no reason to not have something involved in it, And I think to a degree, not really too much. Some of the shooters have it, but a lot of them still really prefer microtransactions more than you grind.
That's true. Funny numbers in the back. But how do you feel about roguelikes?
I'm not too keen on them. Roguelikes, they're boring to me. I can't sit there and just, when you say roguelikes, do you mean like Elder Scrolls and stuff, or do you mean like
Hades.
more like Metroidvanias?
Metroidvanias are like Hades and such.
Yeah, I can't get into Metroidvanias. Like, I like Metroid only because my dad put me on. I've played original Castlevania, but all this newer stuff, it's like, all right, you are literally copying, pasting the same gameplay, just adding a different story to it. Like everyone tried putting me on Hollow Knight. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool game. It's fun for like maybe 30 minutes, and then I move on. If I'm gonna play a game like an indie game, and I don't even think this is a roguelike. I've played Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is a fun ass game.
Oh Lord,
Pizza Tower. Dude.
Never heard of that.
I've seen the game.
You've never heard of Pizza Tower?
No, I
It-
have.
All
not.
right, Mr. Senpai, listen to me. If I could put you on anything, please take the 2 seconds to play Pizza Tower. I think it's like maybe $5, $7 on Steam.
He's gonna cuss out in his own PC.
And have you ever played the Wario Land games growing up as a kid?
The Warrior?
Wario Land.
Oh yeah.
No, I have not.
Okay. So you know how Wario in Smash he has the charging moves and the biting. So the guy who created Pizza Tower wanted a Wario Land 4 for years.
Mhm.
So he was like, okay, instead of doing this, waiting, I'm going to make my own game. I'm going to make this character based off Wario. Peppino Spaghetti is his name. And the whole plot of the game is a giant pizza face is trying to destroy his business. And so this guy has to go to the other pizza castle, and there's 5 bosses. Each one is based on an ingredient from a pizza. And then there's the 2 that's based on the Noid from Domino's. And then the other boss is... what was the other boss? It was a fake version of the main protagonist, like literally just the protagonist but made out of dough. It's such a funny game. It almost looks like it's animated like Ed and Eddie style or Ren and Stimpy style,
Like a cartoon look.
like a real '90s like exasperated like eyes popping out of their face type of look.
Okay. I definitely got to look at some of the YouTube videos of that and whatnot, just to see what you're talking about, because just the way you're describing it is just like
This looks chaotic enough for me not to touch. Is what I imagine. What you're
it's
thinking.
no, it's like
The
no,
squinting eyes, the
Like you're like-
squinting eyes say it all.
it's like I gotta see what this is, because this sounds like some BS, but I gotta see what it looks like,
Yeah, I've seen the gameplay.
'Cause-
Super fun.
because I'm interested in seeing it, and then I'll be like, okay, let me play it, and then see how can I experience it for myself. But just hearing that, I'm just like, I gotta see this. I definitely do.
That's on the notes. What about platformers?
Platformers are fun. I like platformers. I've liked Mario Brothers growing up. The last platformer I really played was Ukulele.
Ukulele.
Yes, Ukulele. Some of the guys, or the OGs from Rare left Rare, and they started their own studio,
Oh,
and they ended up making Ukulele. That dropped back in like 2017, and it's very similar to how the N64 platformers used to play. You play anthropomorphic chameleon and a bat, and it's pretty much like a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie in terms of gameplay.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known that.
I definitely recommend that one. That one's actually kind of fun too. They try and throw little references here and there, but of course, Microsoft still owns those characters, so there's only so much they can get away with.
They can poke jabs
referencing.
at.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. We got some games to look at.
Oh yeah. All right, next topic, and that is, what are your thoughts on the current state of gaming?
The current state of gaming, it could be a little bit better. Everything relies on microtransactions. Everything. And a lot of it is like, there's some where it kind of makes sense, like, certain skins. And then even then, like, why are we still paying for skins when I can just play the game and unlock it? You said earlier, it shows that you've developed your skills and XYZ. That's why you earn the skin. And it's starting to get like that with not even just the shooters. I know for a fact, because I watched this episode last week with Unga Bunga about multiverses.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to be the biggest proponent of multiverses for years. And, with every decision they made, it, like, made me look foolish in the long run.
It just like pushed you away from like supporting.
Yeah, dude. Like at some point when the game first dropped, I even reached out to you on Twitter and I asked, "Hey, why don't you guys have multiverses tournaments? I'll be here more often." And he's like, "There's not enough demand for it." I'm like, "Okay, I understand." So
Yeah.
I never really
Yeah.
pressed it beyond that. I tried doing it on my own. Everyone came for Smash. It was a lot of lessons learned. doing what I did throughout the years. You know what I'm saying? Um, and them just kind of like giving us Aquaman and Lola Bunny, and then being like, all right, we're shutting servers down. Like that's no, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm so done. I bought every character too, just so I can have my
Oh,
buddies play the game with me. So it's not a complete waste of time. I still play it every now and then, but it's also like this game could have been on the same level as Rivals of Ether 2 and killed Smash.
But
Rivals-
fumbled.
Rivals of Ether 2 is the only one that's really killing it in terms of being a Smash killer as we speak.
Yeah. Yeah, because I am seeing a lot more players playing that game more. Like, here's an alternative Smash game. Like, if you like the style of Smash, then here's another alternative. And we've seen alternatives. Like, you have your Brawlhallas, you have which is still running strong. Like, the community for Brawlhalla is still running strong.
Yeah.
So, quick question: is Brawlhalla the one that has Rayman as a playable
Yep.
character?
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, yeah, that game's fun too. I'm sorry, continue.
So, you had games like Brawlhalla. You also have games like Nick All Stars 1 and 2,
Yeah.
which I would say Nick All Stars 2 did a much better job than 1, but still it just still couldn't grab that community of players who do like platform fighters. Like, here's an alternative to Smash, and here's Nick. Nick All Stars, which it has nothing but a bunch of Nickelodeon characters. Then you have multiverses. Now you have a lot of Warner Brother characters. This is good. I do like having different options for the same type of genre that Smash has pretty much created, because I don't think there's like another platform fighter that came before Smash. Smash was, if I'm not mistaken, the very first platform.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think about. Smash was one of the first ones.
Yeah, so now you're gonna have
That
everyone else.
pioneered the idea.
Yeah, so now you're gonna have all these other companies who got inspired because of Smash to now wanting to do their own versions of it, and some of them didn't, fare out well. It didn't succeed, but seeing Rivals of Ether 2 really picking up steam, that's a good thing. I like to see more of that. Multiverses, unfortunately, I think them doing it by beta and then not doing it for
A whole year.
and then release the game, I think that killed their momentum. I think that killed
They
Multiverse
killed
momentum.
themselves respectfully, is what
Yeah.
the best way to say.
That whole momentum with shutting down the servers and the super predatory transactions. Because
Yeah,
I'm not gonna front. I've spent much more money than I'd like to admit just trying to get certain skins, and if not getting certain skins, just getting the points to get skins. So it's like,
don't feel bad.
Yeah, it has happened to some people.
I'm a gotcha player, so don't feel bad.
I knew
Oh
someone
my
who spent
goodness,
like
God
3K
bless
on
your soul.
Genshin.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I knew
Luigi?
someone who spent like 3K in Genshin, like $3,000.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't know how much like they've spent now, but that's not important.
Whew. Sheesh. You guys made me feel better about myself.
Good, we're glad. I'm also a TCG player, so I spend money just to gamble.
You play with Magic?
No, I play Union Arena, One Piece. That's where I hang out with Avi, actually.
Okay, cool. Dude, Union Arena is definitely picking up traction.
Yes, it is. That's why I want to spend more money.
I was talking to Avi about that. He actually got me a little interested.
Oh,
It was a Jujutsu Kaisen,
Yep.
Hunter x Hunter.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the other third IP.
There's also, besides JJK, Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, then they have...
Bleach, that was the one.
They currently have Demon Slayer, next is One Punch Man. Like, they have a whole bunch of IPs for more people to spend money on. So if you're not spending money now, wait a few months and your favorite anime series will pop up.
Did Avi ever tell you about the Japanese exclusive Kamen Rider ones?
No, he hasn't.
So
Dear
that same company has Japanese exclusive Kamen Rider cards.
That makes me twitch a little bit. Why?
'Cause, I mean, Kamen Rider's low-key popular. A lot
Yeah,
of people
It is
love that
low-key.
show. There's...
Not a lot of people know about Kamen Rider.
See, it's like I was forced to know, or I was like force fed.
Shout out my boy, Captain Magikarp. He puts everyone on the sauce about that show.
Someone gave me like a whole link just to watch all the Kamen Rider series, so I think I might do that later.
Definitely should.
It's like the 90s ones are super good. But it might be rough on around the edges. I'm like, it's the 90s, of course.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah, so don't feel bad about transactions. We've all had our bits and moments and
Yeah,
our guilty pleasures and what to get. looking at you.
Yeah,
Silver, no, I'm
but
kidding.
but what happened to multiverses was just criminal.
Oh, it's a
Like,
tragedy.
yeah, criminal. This and it just shows an example of this is what not to do when you're trying to introduce a new series into a already well known already a known established genre that is like platform fighters. Don't just release a beta. Like if you're gonna do a beta, don't do it to where it's like months long, and then you're also charging people transactions
Nah, but
in a beta. To me, that is criminal because it's like
that's robbery.
that's complete robbery. Like
A lot of people lost their stuff because of that.
And then like Warner Brothers like, yeah, sorry, you have to hold that.
and then of course, boom, we're gonna release the full game, and then now it plays nothing like how people remember it from the beta. Like they made so many changes. It's like
That it feels
it's
much
not what
slower.
people wanted.
Slower was the biggest complaint. That it's not even like Smash. It's more delayed,
Yeah,
and the game's supposed to have rollback.
yeah.
That's crazy. Your game is delayed, and you have rollback too.
And it's unfortunate that it happened to a game like Multiverses because
The IP
there was a lot of
great.
potential for it.
The IP choices were amazing. Like
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees, they had Arya Stark, they had Steven Universe, they had LeBron James.
I loved the characters that they chose, but what I thought was super silly is that some of the characters that were released for the game were really advertisements for movies that were coming out at the time.
Unfortunately, it was.
Yeah.
So like Black Adam, Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
you know, and Black Adam is my favorite supervillain of all
They
time. So
snuck
to
it in.
see how he did him in both the movie and in the game. Well, the game I still main Black Adam. Like I said, he's my favorite villain of all time, so that's gonna be my main.
The way they did the movie for DC kind of just changed everything.
Oh, for sure, dude. Like Dwayne's influence and his ego could just kind of ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to DC, unfortunately.
Indeed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we can go on a whole nother tangent about just how the DC movies, how it panned out or whatnot.
But this is a gaming cop podcast.
yes,
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and then today's all about you.
Yes.
So
They play games, but the game is interviewing you right now.
Yes. So any last thoughts on the current state of gaming that you currently have? Anything that you want to share?
So I mean, other than predatory transactions,
Right.
And I believe you guys even said this last week. Certain games of a certain quality should only be $70, and anything that's not of a certain quality should be less than that.
Yeah.
I agreed with that 1,000%.
Yeah.
That should be like a standard overall. Because why am I playing like a 2D Metroidvania and it's $60 on PSN Network or a physical copy when it should be really like maybe $30, $25 tops? If
Yeah.
it's something like, if it's like Street Fighter 6 and base game has like maybe a couple of the stuff, $70, that makes a little bit more sense,
Yeah. Yeah, because you want to make sure that if I'm going to spend this amount of money for this game, then I expect this amount of quality from said game. Like, is there enough content that's going to justify the $70 price tag? Because if it's not, and you might as well just go ahead and lower it. Which I will say that when it comes to Street Fighter 6, when the game first came out, it was $60 because the fact that they also had a PS4 version of it as well.
Oh, the backwards compatible.
Yeah. So you had a PS4 version and a PS5 version, and then the full game gave you arcade mode, story mode, you also
Tour.
world tour. Like the game gave you a lot of content right out the gate for $60.
World Tour is insane. I love World Tour.
Yeah.
Some of the references and some of the original characters you meet in World Tour. You meet Retsu. I was like, you acknowledge that your Street Fighter 1 characters exist, but they're not playable?
Yeah.
Camcom, please.
They-
You tease us too much, Camcom.
Yeah. So that right there is good example of, hey, I'm getting my money's worth. Games like Elden Ring, fantastic game, great game, worth the money because the fact that you're getting a lot of hours of content and you're getting a very unique experience if you've played a Souls game, then you already know what kind of experience that you're gonna get into and whatnot.
Oh, yeah,
you're
for
gonna
sure.
you're gonna rage. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get upset. Your blood pressure is gonna go high. But
Yeah.
when you
Might get an aneurysm.
but when you defeat these challenging bosses, it's such a rewarding feeling. And I think it's experiences like those that makes gaming so much worth it that yeah, it justifies the price tag that it has. However, we also have other games that just feel like no, this should not even be worth $70, let alone 60. If anything, $40 or $30 at best, because the fact that you're just giving us bare bones stuff and all this future content that you have planned for the next year, it's just like what the hell? Like you could have just put that into the whole game and it'll justify the cost.
And you know what's even worse? It might be canceled within halfway through the year.
Yeah, because they didn't make enough sales. So now it's just like, well,
Yep, you spent your money for nothing. Hold that, please.
yeah.
Is what it literally sounds like.
World's smallest violin.
Exactly. But yeah, I think we were talking about GTA 6 being around $100 for just
Yeah.
the base game. Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
That is absolutely criminal.
Yes.
What?
And
Yeah,
the
the
fact that-
standard game, the standard version of Grand Theft Auto 6 might be $100.
Like, what is the
That
version?
hearing that is gonna make me not play this game at all and stay loyal to the Yakuza franchise.
I
I'm
don't
be
blame you.
We're just gonna do for every game. We're just gonna watch people play and then buy it afterwards.
Sounds about right. Sounds, like every other gamer.
Everyone's a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Every,
And meanwhile, Luigi also said that, Rockstar can do this with Grand Theft Auto, but not every other gaming company can do the same because it's like, no,
Rockstar can do what they want.
yeah, you're not Rockstar.
You're not Rockstar.
You're not.
If
So
you're
don't even try to, like Ubisoft. Do not put your games at $100 at standard version. Like, no, you are not at that level.
No, they're probably just gonna wait for. They're probably just gonna wait for Shadows to come out for like not even March 20th, but in April.
Literally.
I'm sorry. This is our time. We'd always talk shit about Ubisoft.
No, that's understandable. I used to like Ubisoft too. I used to like playing the
Same.
Rayman games as a
Yeah.
child, and then
I enjoy the Assassin's Creed franchise.
okay. But the thing with the Assassin's Creed franchise, I feel like the first two were cool,
Yeah.
and then everything after the first two, I started to lose interest in.
Yeah.
I was like, this is boring. This is the same fucking gameplay over and over again. It's just
Yeah, you're right.
what like. How can you guys enjoy that over and over and over again? And I don't know. It was super popular when I was growing up. A lot of the anime club kids used to like that game when I was still going to anime club.
Everyone just wore a hoodie.
Everyone wore a hoodie, real shit. Everyone wore a hoodie. They would have pencils. I'm like, you're not that guy. Relax. You are 15 years old in high school. Be for real.
I feel like someone, if this is clipped, the algorithms are just gonna feel called out.
Oh no.
That would be awesome.
I hope. That's my hope, bro.
I also have that same feeling with Ubisoft when it comes to their Far Cry games because
Oh yeah.
after Far Cry 3, they never peaked that high ever again.
Dude, Far Cry 3 was a godsend.
Yes.
Dude, my favorite level was when you actually had to go to the marijuana crop field and you had the flamethrower, and the
Yeah.
minute you start flaming all the crops, they would play that one Bob Marley, Damian Marley and Skrillex remix. Dude, it was so funny. It was just like this reggae dubstep just dropping as you flaming everything.
They just knew.
That game was way ahead of its time, and that dropped in for the 360. And of course, like you were saying, you had Primal, you had Far Cry 4, excuse me. What are they on now? Did they finally drop Far Cry 5?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did a Far Cry 5. They're up to 6 now.
Yeah.
Okay. So even then, I don't really hear people talking about it they remember it yesterday. You talk to anyone about Far Cry, everyone and their mom's gonna remember 3.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like Fallout.
It was
well.
iconic enough
Yeah.
to get people motivated.
Yeah, because the storytelling, the just the moment and the experience of Far Cry 3, it was just so good. And it's like they've been trying to get that lightning in a bottle, that feeling again with all their other iterations, with trying to make a very iconic villain. But it's just like y'all did it good with this guy once. and then you're trying to recapture the same thing again with all these other villains. Just like it does not work the same. Like yeah, you try to make the villain seem like he's like a crazy, mentally disturbed dude or whatnot, but he's not as crazy as you think when you hear him talk, when you hear him speak, and it's just like I see what you're trying to do. Like I would say a good example, like they're trying to make every villain from after Far Cry 3 as if it's like Heath Ledger's Joker. Like after him is just like you can't replicate that again.
You can't. Not unless you just have the character come back.
Yeah. You just can't unless well, yeah, as you said, unless you bring the character back, like you retcon him again or whatnot. But at the same time, it's just like you're not gonna have that same feeling again.
I would pray they don't retcon him. He's already a iconic villain. If you retcon him, I'm like, you definitely lost the fan.
Yeah,
you're not changing Voss like that.
Yeah,
no, Voss is way too cool to be just a retcon and can be so for real.
Yeah, definitely agree. All right, and our next topic is what are your you had to be there moments? What moments in gaming that you can share with us that you had to be there for this? Like moments that only you experienced.
They could be events, family moments, something you witnessed.
The very first week, the N64 Xbox 360 first dropped that launch week. My dad went out his way and got it, and the first game that came with it, or he got me, was Lego Star Wars 2. It was the one that only had the not the first 3 Star Wars movies. I mean, the chronological order, you get what I'm saying. It's Lego Star Wars 2. I'll leave it at that. So I'm blown away. I am blown away by the graphics at the time because the colors are bright. You have this. It was like hyper realism, but I appreciated it at the time because it was new at the time. This is like we're going from N64 to PlayStation 2 graphics, and seeing how the graphics evolved into the 360 was definitely an eye popper, a jaw dropper for me, because like I played that game for 6 hours, maybe 7 hours straight on the couch. At some point, I had to take a break. I didn't realize I was drooling the whole time.
Drooling?
Drooling. I was just like...
Like you were just locked in.
By the very definition of it, yes.
Damn.
Like, real, true deal, like, locked in. Like, I'm not moving from this couch. You can't say nothing to me that's going to make me move from this couch. I'm literally playing a Lego Luke Skywalker fucking up Lego Stormtroopers. And just the intricate artistic integrity of how the characters looked on top of the realism kept me locked in. And the gameplay on top of that, because, I mean, I still am a huge fan of the Lego games. I still play those as well. I should have mentioned that earlier. I've been playing those since Lego Star Wars 2.
Damn.
Yes.
That is commitment. I respect that.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Lego Harry Potter, Lego Jurassic Park, Lego DC 3. There's a couple I haven't played, but anything that has Lego in the title, I will play.
I'm like the same way when it comes to Ratchet and Clank games. Like, I've played every single one of them since the PS2 era.
Respect.
And the ones on the PSP as well. Like, I played every single Ratchet and Clank game.
Were you ever a fan of PlayStation All-Stars?
Yes and no. Yes, because finally we had a fighter with, PlayStation characters.
Oh,
a platformer at that.
Yeah, and it was a platformer too. And no, I wasn't a fan of it because I wanted it to be at least a 2D style. I think it would have been a lot better 2D rather than platform. But I saw what PlayStation was trying to do, and they were trying to have like their own version of Smash. But I think it was, I ain't gonna lie, it was poorly executed. And I feel like if they did it 2D, like a 2D fighting game,
right,
I think they would have been more successful in that aspect, because certain characters felt better if you were to put them in a 2D fighter like Kratos, especially if you played him in God of War, no, not God of War, Mortal Kombat 9, when he was a guest character for the PlayStation version, yeah, he would have been way better for that. But PlayStation All Stars, I was a fan of it. I did buy it day one, and I also had it for the PlayStation Vita as well. But overall, I was just like, nah, nah. It would have been better as a 2D fighter. That's just me.
Understandable. I can respect that.
Now,
But
if they were to try to do it again, I would be like,
now you said you were a Ratchet Clank fan. Were you ever a fan of Jack and Daxter as well?
yes, and I played all of those games too.
Okay. So were you ever like a big Naughty Dog person in general to begin with? Or was it just those two IPs from Naughty Dog?
For me, those two IPs.
Just those two IPs.
Okay,
Like
so
I've played all of Jack and Daxter, and I've played all of Uncharted.
okay.
Like just those IPs. But
I think I'm the same way.
I got you.
What else moments did you have?
One of my other favorite moments is actually here at Flynn's.
Really?
Yeah, so I used to be friends with him at one point. Matthew and my boy G-Sip were set up in bracket for Smash,
Oh.
and we had written that with them.
Oh.
Yeah, and this is their
no.
first time like meeting each other too. So now they get set up, they're playing, and my boy Jeff, he sees that they're about to go up, and he fucking starts screaming in the other room. He's like, yo, these two guys are about to go at it. He starts pulling out his camera like it's World Star and everything, and these two guys are about to start their bracket.
No shot that happened.
I have it up on YouTube. I have a clip.
That is so funny. I'll have to see it later, but that's incredibly hilarious.
I got to see that too.
I got you. This was years ago, man. This is like either 2022 or 2023. This had happened.
Yeah, I definitely got to see that.
But those are the really only two big things I can really recollect gaming wise, because everything else is just kind of like, I can go on and on about how I played a fighting game and won and got clutch. It's if you do it 1,000 times, it kind of loses its not value, but it's specialness. So it's like, yeah, I'm winning, whatever, cool. It was like a high stakes thing. Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
And going back to the juice box thing, I think that was another kind of hype, you had to be there moment.
Yeah.
Because I also have a clip of that, of me just completely losing my shit about losing, but like in a good way. I'm like, dude, oh my God, I'm losing the juice box. What? That's like saying you just lost a fist fight to Boss Rutan. Same concept.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next topic to ask, and that is, what are your gaming pet peeves? Give us some pet peeves that just irks you when it comes to gaming.
Okay. There's been a couple of times where the Lego Harry Potter games have glitched on me, and I start to realize that I went on some Reddit threads, and everyone else seemed to have the same problem with not just that game, but some of the other Lego games where they glitch mad heavy, and it's just like you have to restart and do whatever, and that gets annoying really fast. Other biggest pet peeve, microtransactions, especially if it's like, you make a game that's more pay to play versus play to play,
Yeah.
Going back to multiverses, why are you selling maybe 200 whatever the fuck it was for $4.99? Why am I doing that when I can just play the game and earn that?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Fortnite, because I did like Fortnite for a brief period of time, and then they got really into like the whole skin, and I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to play a game. It's a cool concept. I like that whole battle royale concept. I think PUBG did it better because they didn't really rely on the microtransactions like that.
Yeah.
And then there's another game similar to those two games, H1Z1. I like that
Yeah,
game.
I remember that too.
My friend, he was infatuated with that game, and he put me on for a little bit, and then he stopped playing it because he's a DJ on the low, so I won't speak too much on that. But
Understandable.
he he stopped playing for a little bit, and because of him stopping playing, I stopped playing. Because it's like, damn,
Yeah.
I don't really have
Like
anyone to
if a
play
homie's
like
not
that.
playing, then I'm not gonna play. If I'm play alone.
Yeah, but yeah, those are the only few pet peeves I have in terms of gaming, because like I really never have an issue like that. Maybe it not so much as the game itself. You run into a sore loser or sore winner every now and then, but other than that, I mean, I don't have any other gripes in terms of gaming as it is.
Okay. Then let me ask you this: since you also run tournaments, what is your pet peeves as a TO?
My pet peeves as a TO. So there's been a couple. I've had a couple of guys tell me how to do my thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, and I get it, because I was at one point in my time I was a novice, just like everyone in mom, and I'm learning, and I make mistakes too. But when you start to tell me how to run my own tournaments, I have to put my foot down and be like, dude, I am trying to run this in the way so that it goes smoothly and everyone else can have a good time. The only downside is that when I was helping my friend Brandon doing these tournaments, is that a lot of them were at venues where it was not suitable to do a tournament. You know, and we've had a couple of great turnouts at great venues, and we've had bad turnouts at great venues, and vice versa all around. When we did North Palm Billiards for a couple of years, like from 2022 up until like 2023. We had started building up a little bit, got a little bit of momentum, but the owner sold that place. We had dudes like Ology come through. There's a couple of big names. I'm trying to remember J Mafia at some point. And now all those same guys go and support our boy DK, because Brandon and I have been actually helping DK build up his brand as well. Get that social aspect in and not just make it strictly a competitive space. A space where everyone can actually play for a little bit, win a little bit of money, and at the end of the day, whether they win or lose, they have a whole group of people they're with. They can talk, socialize, maybe even network in the long run, because you never know. Miracles have happened in these spaces.
Yeah, absolutely.
But going back to pet peeves as a TO, I've had a couple of sore winners, sore losers. I've had Brandon's the one who really brings the equipment. I only have my own personal switch and whatever that I bring every now and then if we know for a fact it's going to be a big turnout. We've had a couple of people either steal his stuff, or if not steal his stuff, get mad and throw his stuff, and then either me and him have to take that person outside. And that's the other thing too. It also has to do with the venues as well. We were doing propaganda for a little bit. We had Smash tournaments of propaganda in Lake Worth, and that was fun. The first day was kind of horrible though, because their AC had just broke. Yeah. So, I mean, but everything after that was pretty much smooth sailing. We would have like not too crazy, like maybe 8-10 people tournaments. Worst case scenario was like 6, and we had to round robin. That's worst case scenario. Yeah, and glitch too. We did glitch for a little bit, and I thought I was about glitch. I thought I was about glitch because it's a video game bar.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that'd be the environment. It is not the environment you think it is.
Oh.
It's not on the same level as game night. Game night, you can actually feel comfortable staying in. Now, I'm not saying glitch is uncomfortable. You could definitely have a good time at glitch, but the thing is that when we had our setups, we had a lot of very aggressive drunk people come in and not respect that we had a tournament going on.
Right.
Yeah.
They would see the guys playing and be like, "Oh, I want to play." I'm like, dude, there's a tournament. I got if it wasn't challenge or Smash GG, and I'd show them the bracket, and they don't care.
No.
They don't know what Smash GG is.
Yeah.
They don't know what challenge is. They just want to play. They're not, they're not a part of the culture. They're just coming in, and it was so annoying too. And in that same venue, we had one guy who was, clearly on something at one point in time, and he's getting up in me and my friend's face like, "Yo, what do you guys do? You got an LLC for this?" And like all up in our personal faces, like, bro,
back off.
Like,
so
please calm down.
but aside from that, glitch we did for a little bit, and at some point they wanted to micromanage the bracket and the collecting of the money, and we're just kind of standing there, with our equipment, and the management is freaking out because no one's going to them, everyone's coming to us, and we're having to tell them, gotta go to the management because this is how they want to do it.
Yeah.
And that we stopped. We stopped at some
Because it
point.
got too complicated.
It got so complicated. The way we did it at first was like, it was so easy. We would get everyone's name, we collect the fees, you are on this station with this person, let me know if it's 2-0. And of course, we try to make it double elimination. So the idea of that is that they'll still, be around hanging out with their buddies, drinking and what have you, having a good old time. And that's why North Palm Billiards was a little bit more successful, because it was just a billiards place. Like, they didn't have liquor like that. It was just beer and wine.
Yeah.
So everyone's chilling. Everyone's having a grand old time. What was the other venues? We did a couple others, too. We did a Smash tournament at this one spot in Delray. It was a beer hall. I can't remember.
Beer hall.
A beer hall. That was pretty lit.
Okay, that sounds cool.
You pay like $25 once, and then you have almost as big as the podcast room. Just tap, 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 all different beers from different breweries.
That sounds cool.
For just $25 one setting. And you can, obviously you have to limit yourself as a person, but, you just pour whatever and sip and enjoy yourself. And then meanwhile, there's a whole another section on the other side of the building where everyone's, playing Smash tournament. That was a one and done thing, unfortunately, but it was still a great turnout. So I don't understand what happened with that and why that fell through. I think mainly I spoke to Brandon about it. He said, they kind of wanted to do it on their own, and they were flopping because they weren't advertising it or promoting it the way we were promoting it for them.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, some of these places try and, cater to the community, but a lot of them fail at catering to the community because they don't really know what the community wants, and vice versa. Because sometimes I feel like some of these guys don't really know what they have. Like, they have designated spaces that they can go to.
Yeah.
You have Flynn's, you have Prodigy Games, you have Rock, you have Guildhall. All these spaces are there for a reason. And, we all cycle around as a big community.
Yeah.
So there's, no reason for you to not appreciate the spaces that you have and speak ill of what goes on in the community. It's supposed to be go, play a couple of games, maybe win some money, and then dip, and then have fun with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some places don't follow that path, unfortunately.
No, for sure.
They forget the community aspect and put competition in the way. Like I said earlier.
Yeah, 1,000%. Oh man,
I do want to go on a little bit more of what you were saying, because that is one thing when it comes to people who own venues and whatnot. Like, they don't understand the community of people that are coming new to their business and establishment, because for one, you want to make sure that if someone new is coming to your establishment, they are comfortable. Because if people are comfortable, they're more likely to come again. If they're not having a comfortable experience, they're not going to come again. They're just going to be one and done. Now you just had that one person that could have been a regular of yours not come at all.
Yes.
Which is why here at Flynn's, I always prioritize making sure that people are comfortable, they're having a good time. And if there are any problems or issues, then, we get it rectified and we get it solved. So that way we make sure that you're having a good time, you're comfortable, and, we can't wait to see you again. So that way you always keep coming back. And then, of course, you also tell other people to, hey, come check out this venue. It's pretty cool. It's pretty chill. And, it's definitely worth going.
No,
especially
for
for
sure.
the price. But I remember I was telling DK when he was doing tournaments or whatnot. I think this was long before he got with Prodigy, that focus on building the West Palm scene.
Mm-hmm.
Focus heavily on building the West Palm scene, because West Palm did not have much of anything. I did see Rec going from place to place to place to place to place, but it's just like
no designated location.
Yeah, like boom, here's this one spot where we're all here, and then you just build from that. And I also saw that with the Smash community where they were in so many different places. Like there was Holodeck that was
Wellington.
in Wellington. It's no longer there. Rex Baron no longer there.
Rest in peace, Rex Barron. I remember going on their first day, and next thing you know, COVID.
Yeah,
Damn.
I went to Rex Baron like after like well during the pandemic era and whatnot, and then now fast forward to now Rex Baron's like no longer in business.
Damn.
Yeah, and then they also had Smash Tournaments at a Kava bar, which completely stopped or whatnot. So, like West Palm was just like in limbo of like where can we go for tournaments or
They were
whatnot.
trying to make a scene, but not many people had a place to make the scene.
Yeah,
I think before DK had Prodigy, it was in Boynton. And that's where I first met him with Herbs and Foreface and such. And now Prodigy now has Proving Grounds, which are like monthly events, so you have more people coming in.
That is a fact, and they're actually fire.
Yes, they are. I've been to a few of them. I won a couple Strive tournaments.
Oh, dude, would you go on the weekdays?
I went on the weekends, or I went to a couple months ago.
Okay.
And then I.
Because there was, I'm sorry to cut you off. There was a brief time on, I was going there on Saturdays, and I was in the kitchen cooking.
Oh, no, I haven't been there recently. I heard about the kitchen recently, and I.
Well, right now, unfortunately, the kitchen's closed, but Proving Grounds is still like
Yeah.
going
I remember
on.
DK was telling me someone was in the kitchen, but he didn't mention who. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything has a circle, and I found that
Yeah.
hilarious.
Because the thing is that before I even got into gaming, on my YouTube channel, I used to make cooking videos.
What
Yes.
Yeah.
So like,
the hell's your YouTube channel? I want to follow it. Well, later on we can put it in the podcast.
it's on the shirt.
Ah, wow! I should have read.
Metahuman Macaluco. And then no, it's okay. It's okay, bro.
Not in a bad way.
Oh boy. But yeah, so it kind of worked out in the long run. That's how I started my YouTube channel, was just cooking videos, then restaurant reviews, then I started streaming. Now, funny enough, I'm doing my own interviews, but just from not just a gaming sphere, but like an everywhere sphere type of thing. But I'm so glad I actually got to voice my opinion on video games specifically, thanks to Mr. Senpai over here.
hey, not a problem.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like I was telling DK, like focus on building the West Palm scene because I told him that, when you do that, like yeah, of course you're gonna have people from all the other regions like Broward region and of course Miami-Dade region, but those players may not come up to West Palm because it's a far drive for them. So I said, focus on just West Palm, focus on that and just build that community, let it grow, and just be mindful of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build, so that way you can keep it going for a long period of time. Because I told him, and I also tell all these any person that wants to be a TO that's wanting to come into doing this, it has to be done with it has to be done for passion. Like you have to enjoy doing this rather than you're trying to make a living off of it, because you're gonna lose a lot of money trying to do this. Okay. Like, if you've seen, like, Waluigi has seen it himself that how much Flynn's has transformed over the years. He's also seen the progression of how I've been running and organizing tournaments.
Since you were a Smash TO, before they hated you, and then they loved you again, and then they hated you again, and then they loved you. It's an endless loop.
Yeah, and then, of course, I always tell people, like, this thing, it costs. There's a lot of cost that goes into all of this or whatnot. Like,
it's financially and literal time.
It is, I would say, financially taxing. Oh, definitely. Because all of this is me.
Yeah.
All the setups. I mean, majority of the PS5s, Flynn's bought them or whatnot. But, like, the games that are in them, majority of them are me.
Yeah. We had to chip in. People brought their own consoles and don't get into touch.
Yeah, so so for me, I would tell TOs that focus on longevity rather than just like glory. Focus on making it longer, meaning it lasts a long period of time, rather than you're trying to go for just glory. Like, oh, our event had a huge amount of entries or whatnot. It's good. Like, celebrate your successes, but don't let that be the main focus of what you're trying to do. Like you're trying to have like the biggest local ever, the biggest monthly ever. Focus on just that longevity
The goal
because
is just community, simply.
yeah, because at the end of the day, it's the community that benefits the most,
Yeah.
and you have to enjoy doing it instead of just wanting to fill in your pockets. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna make a lot of money doing this,
Nope.
especially when everything costs so much. Yeah,
Doing this for 3 years and helping my friend do the spot by spot, definitely not lucrative in the long run. But I also feel it's still beneficial to an extent because it's helped me meet cool people,
yeah,
Yeah.
and network and bring ideas together. I tell my friend Brandon, let's actually build a brick and mortar at some point so we can actually have a designated spot and also help out DK build up that community up there because I'm from Coral Springs. I go up there to see what's good. No designated spot versus down here.
When there's like multiple spots going on.
Multiple spots. So you definitely. I'm so glad that you gave DK that advice because now he's utilizing it the way he should be. Now Prodigy's like slowly building up and everyone's starting to speak more about it. They're like proving grounds, like he said. You know, and seeing how he did the production for his because when I first showed up to the land center, boring,
Yep.
gray lights and everything. Now we took him out to a couple of shows like pub dubs and whatever. He got inspired. There's a huge mural in the back,
Yes. I
lights,
saw that.
everything else.
It's a little bit darker. There's brightness for the PCs.
Well, what happened was we were supposed to Brandon, and DK were trying to collaborate with a music group called Team Underground
okay.
and actually get some stuff going on. Fortunately, it didn't fall through, but even then, still going through that helped DK in the long run because he felt inspired to set up the room the way it was after the animate rave we went to.
Oh.
Yes.
Him going to a rape is funny, but yeah. Love it, man to death.
yeah, and it just goes to show like even like before I was a TO, I was a content creator or whatnot, like yourself or whatnot.
Yes.
And when you go to these events and you meet different people, you see different things. That's when you get more creative ideas. You get inspired by doing, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to go in this direction because now you've been to a couple of events, you've interacted with a couple of people, whatnot. Now that gives you more creative ideas of where do you want to go next, what you want to experiment with or whatnot, and see how it goes. Because now you're at the point where you don't care about failing. You don't care about okay, it's not going to get you a lot of views. You only care about I just want to get to I want to start and finish and see what's the end result. And then from there on, I can decide whether or not which path I want to go next.
Yes, sir. Sounds about right. Sounds about accurate.
Yeah. Because I came into the scene just through the convention scene. Like I was a
Yeah.
regular con goer or whatnot, and I was like, you know what, I want to do some content here. Started doing content, gaming content.
That's
and
how we
whatnot.
literally met in 2009.
That's-
We met like almost 6 years ago. 2019.
Yeah.
Otaku Fest. Or
Yep.
I think no, SuperCon.
Yeah, it was SuperCon and then Otaku Fest.
And then we just jumped the gun from here.
Yeah.
I love how I know almost everyone's story for some reason, just by passing by.
Dude, like I said, it's a cycling community.
Literally.
Everyone goes to the same spots, the same events, the same venues.
And there's so much content and creative ideas that you can just do with it. Like you have your conventions, you also have your places to go where people who have the same interests as you are gonna go to or whatnot. You have like raves if you're into that type of thing, you can go there. You have so many different options, movies, organized get-togethers or whatnot. Like the options and choices are endless. It's just taking that action to just go and just do it. And if no one wants to come, that's fine. You just go alone and then you make it happen. And I think that's what a lot of people don't when you see them like back then to now, just like you haven't seen like a lot of progression. Now I understand people go through life, differently.
Yeah.
People have different walks of life or whatnot. But when it comes to what you're trying to do, like what you're trying to create as a creator, you want that progression, like where you was then to where you are now.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything has its own pacing, time, and everything. There's no need to rush for whatever you're after, or whatever you want to make. Just make it happen.
Yeah, that's why I tell people, like, when people ask me how do I do what I do, I was like, bro, I just do it.
Yep.
Just make it happen. Like it sounds so simple, but it's just like
You have to make it happen.
you literally do. You have to take that first step to go forward, because that's the only way you're gonna know what direction you're gonna go next. Because some people, they're afraid of failing.
Yeah.
They're afraid of trying. They're afraid of what other people are gonna say about them. It's just like, don't care, because, and I'm pretty sure you've seen this as well,
Oh yeah, thousands.
and you can attest to this. Some of your biggest supporters are sometimes usually not your closest friends. It's usually other people that sees what you're doing. They see in your vision. Now, you could say that, well, my friends don't care about what I'm trying to do or whatnot, or they're not supportive. Like, I used to think like that too, but I also had to think of it like this: like, my path is different from theirs, so I cannot hate them for that. It's just that
Yeah.
they live their life in a different path, just as I live my life in a different path. So we're still cool. We're still, tight knit and whatnot, but we just all have different paths and we just go in different directions.
Yeah.
Which is why I have like a group of friends that are not in the FGC, but I would go to their house and we would play games, we would talk shit and whatnot, like, and we'd just chill about it. Like, they see what I do, even though they're just not active in what I do, which I don't knock them for it or whatnot, but they see what I do because they know that that's the kind of person that he is.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No, that's definitely happened to me a couple of times, especially when I first started, a lot younger. Now it's just like, all right, let me chill out a little bit, because everyone's got personal lives too, first and
Yeah.
foremost. Um, but I mean, there's also the actual like more in-depth personal beefs that happen too as time goes on, and it's just kind of like, now I don't want you at my venues anymore. Now it's
Yeah.
just kind of like,
Yeah.
now you have to put up with that at some point. And I'm sure you've done this a lot longer than I have. You probably felt that at some point.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's natural, but I always think of like, what's the best option going forward that's gonna benefit. And if I have to make cuts, I have to make losses, then it is what it is. And so some people are not gonna like that, but eventually they'll be like, I kind of I respect what you kind of did, because you were in a situation where you had to like make a choice and whatnot. And sometimes you don't want to make that choice, but it happens.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Which is why it's like, I like coming into this with a passion for gaming, loving gaming and whatnot, and then having to interact with people that has like the same interests as you or whatnot. Like, it's definitely eye opening, and
Yeah.
I've always said that I don't care about the end journey, like the end goal. Is just the fact that the journey itself is just it's worth it, because you never know what you're gonna run into, what you're gonna encounter, or whatnot. And sometimes, it could be a good thing. Sometimes it could be a bad thing. But how you go about it is the determining factor.
Absolutely. Attitude is everything.
Yeah.
If you have a piss poor attitude and you're like, ugh, I'm not making enough money, my friends are coming over, da 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 da, then everything that you've, built up is gonna just fall apart much more longer in the long run, versus just having hope and, promoting yourself to the best of your ability, whether it's utilizing all of your social medias, or even, asking your friends to, not necessarily go, but, advertise for you as well. Doing all that helps out in the long run.
Yeah.
And, going out and supporting other people too is a huge contributing factor. Not just like staying stagnant in one spot. You actually have to go out, talk to people, be like, yo, my friend does this on these nights, I'm doing this on this night. So if you're not doing anything on this night, you can come through, because I know you don't want to wait a whole week for your friend. So they have something to do, like, if they have money to splurge like that,
Yeah.
double weekend thing where it's like, oh, I'm going to go to this guy's event and this guy's event.
Yeah. Yeah, or even if it's like game sessions or whatnot, like, plan them, host them, and just see who shows up or whatnot, and just, if no one shows up, then you carry on with the show.
Absolutely.
Because I know that could be very demotivating for people, and it can definitely strike at your ego or whatnot. But you just have to be humble about it and just be and just have that mindset of just keep going forward and just make things happen. As long as you're able to make things happen, then eventually things are going to fall in place for you. Because if you don't, then you're gonna kind of regret not taking action when you had the opportunity to. And I think a lot of people, they wait for the opportunity instead of just working at it to build that opportunity to where it comes at you naturally.
Oh, for sure, 1,000%. You gotta jump. You gotta take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Like worst case scenario, what's the worst that can happen? You lose a couple of dollars. You get told to fuck off every now and then. You gotta get people. Excuse me. You gotta keep pushing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, with that being said, any final thoughts?
Shout out Rex Gaming. I love you guys. I appreciate everything that you've done for me. Shout out to everyone who has been watching the YouTube channel for years. Shout out Mr. Silverback and shout out Laluigi for having me come on and having a chance to actually speak to you guys in person, and not even just in person, but on the podcast too.
Yeah.
I've seen you in passing and dapped you up a couple of times, but sometimes the squinting eyes, they scare me sometimes. So I'm like, damn, I don't want to bother him too much. He might be working.
Yeah, like when I'm Waluigi will tell you, like when I'm in my work mode, I'm focusing on this. It's like I'm not trying to be like rude or disrespectful, and some people may take that as
No, he's just super focused.
yeah, like I'm completely ignoring you, or I'm like mentally telling you like please go away, like please fuck off, whatnot. Like especially when I'm at cons, like if there's a tournament going on, I'm hyper focused, and it's just like my job is to make sure that everything goes smoothly. I'm trying to just do my job to the best of my ability.
Well, that's the thing I'm starting to realize is that it's not just you who's doing that at cons. A lot of the music guys do that exact same thing. I was just talking to Pastel Beach about this at a rave I went to, and he was, he apologized to me he said, I'm sorry if I ever, came off like that and whatever. I'm like, you don't have to apologize to me to begin with. Every time I've ran into you, you're doing sound check for the fucking DJs.
Yeah.
Or if not the DJs, someone who's up on stage with the mic.
Yeah. And I always make that effort to apologize to people. Like once I can cool down and everything's just, calm, because when things are crazy, it's like, okay, it's go time.
Yeah.
It's go time. Like everyone needs to be focused. I need to make sure my team is focused. Everyone's good to go. And then once everything calmed down, then it'll be like, I check out on everybody. And if I feel like, you know what, I kind of interacted with this person badly, then I'll walk up to you and be like, yo, I apologize for how I was. If I came off to you in a bad way, it's just I'm just hyper focused on trying to make sure things are going the way it should be. So that's something not only I always manage to do and I try to do, but I also tell other people as well, like also do the same thing. Like once things cool down, just be like, if some people feel like you kind of like rub them off the wrong way, just let them know what's going on and be like, listen, I don't mean no offense to it, no offense, but I was just in the zone at that moment.
And I'm sure anyone in the right mind would forgive you the very next minute. There's no reason for them to have a gripe about it. And if they do, find God, please.
Yeah, because I've gotten like DMs from people saying that I come off as like very intimidating or whatnot, and it's like I get that, yeah, but it's like I'm not a very intimidating person unless you want to get on my bad side.
That is true.
Very true.
Like, I've known this man for like 5 years. I have not sensed any intimidation unless something actually is going on.
Yeah.
Which is very rare.
Yeah. So, Waluigi, any final thoughts?
Oh, dude, it's finally an honor to meet you, man.
Dude,
like,
for sure.
Like, once you reached out saying you watch podcasts, I'm like, holy shit, someone DM'd me watching the podcast. Like, no one has done that, actually.
I'm shocked.
That made
I
my
thought
day.
that was like an everyday thing for you guys.
No.
Art. Very rare.
It's extremely rare. But yeah, hearing your stories, hearing your perspectives, and even as a TO and going to the con scene, the rave scene, that's fucking cool. Keep doing what you're doing with your content, man.
Thank you.
I also subscribe to your YouTube channel.
Appreciate you. I love that.
Hell yeah.
And as for me, my final thoughts. Thank you again for joining us. I've wanted to get you on, but I would say like last year it was like kind of like very hectic, especially since we were transitioning from the arcade to here. So I had to like put podcast guests on kind of hold or whatnot for a long period of time until this room that we're in is finally fully built and ready to go. So I was like, once it's ready to go, now let's get some people on the podcast. Let's get some guests on. And I was like, he's got to be on that list. Like Q1, he's getting on.
I appreciate that. I'm just letting you guys know if I get to 1,500 subs, I will be dropping my tomahawk steak video.
Tomahawk steak video.
I cooked a tomahawk steak.
What? Damn, that sounds good. I'm hungry now.
All righty. And with that being said, hey, everyone, thank y'all so much for watching and tuning in. This has been episode 119 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast, and we are signing out. Y'all stay classy.
Peace.
Peace.